October 13th, 2015. We made it to Santa Barbara, and we're staying with friends who live in a community. It's a community of 11 acres, 23 people. There's swimming pools, a bocce court, frisbee golf. There's gardens and aloe vera farms. It's an art studio. It's like junkyard meets art, but more art. It's not cluttered, but not simple. It's beautiful, but not maintained. Functional, but not high-tech. It's environmentally friendly, but not strict. Music flows from all objects. Play lingers like magic, and all you can see. It's heaven on earth.
We continued our play as we picked up our friend in Los Angeles and headed to Big Bear to climb at Holcomb Valley. We arrived in Big Bear midweek and had the whole place practically to ourselves. We stayed in an awesome hostel, ITH Lodge, and spent 3 days sport climbing at Holcomb. Because Big Bear is located so high up in elevation, it got really cold there even during the day, and the approach to the crag wasn't that easy as we had to almost go off-roading at times. But in the end, Coyote Crag and Claim Jumper Wall really exceeded my expectations, and were perfect for us to climb.
To the wild, wild west.
We continued back east, driving through the Mojave Desert and stopping at Hole in the Wall Campground. We went for a quick hour-long hike, just in time to get back to watch a beautiful sunset.
We spent 2 days at the Grand Canyon, as you can see behind us. We camped at Mather Campground. The first night we were going to sleep in a tent and it was too cold. I think it was below freezing, so we decided to car camp, which was phenomenal. And we put the seats down and it was much warmer, so we had a better night's sleep. And then we also hiked down into the Grand Canyon, which was a lot of fun. It's about 5,000 to 6,000 feet of elevation difference from the rim all the way to the riverbed. And we went about 2,000 to 3,000 feet down. It was about a 3-mile trek in and a 3-mile trek out. And out was definitely much harder than in, and downhill the whole way. It was great, but we passed some backpackers who had stayed the night in the canyon. And it's a lottery system, or like you have to do like 6 months in advance to reserve one of the spots. So when we come back, hopefully I really would love to kind of hike down, camp the night, and then hike back out a couple days later. I think that would be really neat.
After we finished the rim hike, we did a 6-mile hike down and back in the canyon. We came back, we used the laundromat for the free Wi-Fi, and then we got back to the campsite and we were just kind of hanging out. I noticed some like ruffling in the bushes, kind of like 2 campsites over, and I looked and there was just 2 massive bucks just hanging out, just eating some of the tree leaves and everything. And that was probably the highlight of my day yesterday. It was really cool to just get really close to those guys and just see how massive they were. We spent some time in New Mexico hiking in the Rio Grande Gorge and rock climbing in the John Dunn Bridge area of Taos. We then drove 8 hours to Oklahoma City, followed by another 8 hours the next day to Arkansas to rock climb in Horseshoe Canyon Ranch.
We're on day 25 of the road trip. 25?
Yeah, it's Halloween.
Halloween, happy Halloween. We've been talking about what we've learned, and it's pretty interesting because the road trip was never really part of our plans. We had always wanted to go to California and hang out in October, and we were going to fly, and then we thought it'd be more fun the road trip. But we learned a lot along the trip, as far as like how we travel together and what we want out of Southeast Asia and things we liked and didn't like. I mean, I think so far I've learned I don't miss work yet. It's been 25 days and I don't have any desire yet to go back to work. I've learned that I really like Adam a lot.
Oh.
That when things get tough on the road, he's always happy. Well, it's gonna be a fun one to watch. So I've learned that Adam is the center of a lot of my happiness, and no matter where we are, whether it be in New York or wherever, I'm always happy with Adam there. We learned that things in New York really weren't that expensive if you take rent out of the equation, as far as like going to grocery stores around here and things like that. Been pretty on par for food. I mean, juices have been almost more expensive, coffee's been more expensive, bread, cereal, some of the things we bought have been more expensive than what we used to pay in New York, so that was interesting. We learned we don't really enjoy the well-beaten path. Like, the Grand Canyon's fun, but the best part of the Grand Canyon was the hike in, and I would have really loved to camp at the bottom, which would have been a little different.
Yeah, that changed it a little bit.
Yeah, but the places that we went that we would have never made a trip for, like Carlsbad Tavern and watching the bats fly, I would have never taken a week out of work to fly to New Mexico, drive out to Carlsbad, and watch the bats fly. But
or have a cup of coffee and breakfast on the Mississippi River on a random like, Tuesday morning.
Those are things we would never have planned to do and or made a vacation around, but they were amazing experiences that I
kind of fell in
loved. Yeah,
the
that
path that we were taking.
just happened to pass us by.
Song of the South, sweet potato pie and shut my mouth. Gone in the wind, there ain't nobody looking back again.